Okay, next, I'm going to add the appearance of chipped metal. So we're going to assume this is some sort of metal or some sort of composite material. I really have no idea what it is. I didn't think that far ahead yet in terms of the lore for the details of how the equipment works. But we're going to pretend like it's metal in this case. So we're going to do a little bit of a chipped metal effect where the paint is scraped off. And like I said before, this often is going to occur along the particular edges. So this time, let's turn off the jitter for right now. We want to choose a kind of a bright gray color, because metal, when it's hit with light, is pretty bright. And the direct sunlight is where you get that bright, pure white that's painful to look at. So let's see. Choose an edge. We're going to go here. And I'm going to start using the airbrush tool. Try to give it as much of a random-like appearance as you can. That is too bright. So let me back up and take that back. We're going to go down to a gray of a value of around 61, and we'll try it again. Yeah, okay, so we're getting there. You're going to start getting this effect. We're going to do it in a few more places. Put a spot there. We'll put a spot down along here. We'll put one over here in this corner. Should move my camera back a little bit. You're getting a nice big shot of my face just buried in my computer right now, aren't you? And let's do 2 more spots. And then I'll go back and do the next phase of this process. Do one up here along the shoulder. And let's hide one down here in the corner. Okay, now what we're going to do is add a little bit of texture to the actual metal. Let's choose a different gray shade, maybe a little bit brighter. We'll do 67. I'm going to decrease the brush size to about 4, and I'm really going to go over these areas just really quickly, just enough to eliminate the fact that it looks like a nice smooth gray color. It's going to be very subtle changes, but you know what? Most of the artwork when you do this kind of stuff is all about lots of small, subtle changes. Alright, cool. The last part to the chip metal effect is to actually add a little bit of depth to it, to make it look like there's actually a very tiny, fine amount of material that's actually chipped off of the suit. And what this comes down to is trying to figure out, is the boundary of the chip section facing towards the light or facing away from the light, and then either applying a bit of a brighter highlight or a bit of a darker shadow than the surrounding colors. So in this case, we want to go back to our vest lighting color. Now we have a bit of a U shape going on here. This region here, and this line up here, those are all facing towards the light. So we're going to take our eyebrush color, or eyedropper tool, and select this armor panel to know what color it is. And I'm going to go and amp it up by about just 3, we'll do by 2, we'll do 3 value increase. We're going to take our acrylic brush here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and use the paintbrush, not the airbrush tool. This will be interesting what happens. And I'm drawing these lines to be just a little bit brighter. So you're getting just a little bit of an effect that there's a bright edge right here, as if it's really pointed towards the light. It's a very small effect. That's all right. You want it to be a relatively small effect. And I guess this line here too would also be definitely towards the light. Okay, so that's good. Maybe we can even make it smaller. Let's do a little 2 pixel thing. Go back and forth a few times here. And then this particular line along here is actually going to be facing away from the lights. It's going to be a little bit darker. Select our armor panel color. Drop it down by about 3 pixels. Use the paintbrush. It's about 2 pixels. And there we go. And you get a very subtle, maybe a little too much, but if you zoom out here, you're going to see that it does give it a little bit of depth perception. There's a chunk of something missing. And we're going to do this process again for these other armor pieces. I'm actually going to go down and do a 1 pixel line this time. So let's select our color. These are away from it, so let's do a little bit darker. Paintbrush. Okay, you really can't see much doing that, so let's do it back to 2 pixel. Yeah, so 1 pixel to acrylic brushes doesn't really do much. So make it a little bit darker, and there you go. Instantaneous tiny bit of depth perception, just like that. Down here, we'll figure out the local color is. We have some facing towards the light, some away from it. 3 pixels darker for the areas that are away from the light. Just like that. Then let's go up 6 pixels, not 6 pixels, 6 value, and that's for the areas that are towards the light. And let's just keep doing this process. Over here, we're mostly towards the light. There we go. Now we're starting to get something that actually looks like a suit of kind of staggered, multi-plated, sci-fi style armor.